Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is my review for the Knick Season 1, Episode 3, The Busy Flea, and wow, this episode was just amazing. By far the best episode so far of this show. Really was into everything going on in this episode, really loved everything that was going on. We found out a lot of things. My opinion on some of the characters changed, actually, in this episode, definitely. I thought that was definitely very well done. Really loving where the show is headed, and this is actually the last episode we get for 2 weeks, so this was definitely a good episode to end on, in my opinion. Definitely, I really enjoyed it. So let's get into this episode. We're going to start off right away, and basically we see John. He receives this visitor, Abagail, who we can tell right away is an old flame of his. But I don't know if she's an ex-girlfriend or an ex-wife or whatever, but they had some sort of relation. We can tell that right away. Just by the way, because he says to her, you know, I miss being in your arms and things like that. You can just tell that they were together once. And she's wearing a contraption on her face that covers her nose and shields her eyes. And basically, her face has been ravaged by the effects of syphilis, which she contracted through John. Yes, we find out right away. Then we find out that he is her ex-husband, basically. And John, because of course, probably because of the cocaine, because you can get, like, cocaine, you can get syphilis from, like, cocaine or something like that. I don't really know, but I don't know too much about that because I haven't had myself, but it's an STD, so I know that. But John examines her noseless face and suggests a grafting definitely a very gruesome scene there when he's, examining her face. Definitely very gruesome. He suggests a grafting procedure to offer some semblance of a covering, and she insists that he carry out the surgery himself. So, she really wants him to do it himself. You know, she's pretty convinced he can. And I think it's also that, they were together and she really doesn't trust anyone except him. I understand that, definitely. She really doesn't trust anyone except him, and she feels safe with it being just him. She doesn't really trust anyone except him, so that's what's going on there. So then we see Barrow, and of course Barrow. Barrow is officially our villain, definitely. Barrow is officially our villain here, and I really like that, definitely. Barrow is officially our villain. He is the guy that we're not supposed to like, but you know what? It's actually I still love his storyline, because his storyline makes the show like Borak Empire, definitely. He is in need of money to pay for his wife's spending habits, as well as his own debts to Bunky, because, Bunky is that gangster that needs that money, and he steals a body out of the hospital's morgue, and when he took that body, I'm like, is he about to kill a patient? He literally drags the body across the floor, sells it to the black market, and once he sells up at Bunky, he sells it on the black market, and then he goes to, surprisingly, a prostitute, Junia. Now, yes, so he is cheating on his wife. Not only does he have, there are a lot of things to hate about him, and, right there, I mean, very graphic sex scene, but that was definitely surprising. Wasn't expecting that, and I thought, that was definitely very surprising. So, yeah, definitely that was surprising. And then we see, after hours, Algernon is beginning to put his underground clinic together. And of course, Algernon has hired that, Algernon has, started his own business, helping the black patients. He's been doing that, so basically what ends up happening is, he hires the hospital's coal porters as his receptionists, and the seamstress as his surgical nurses. So you can see he's, operating pretty well. I was happy for him because of that. And a laborer comes in with a hernia, and Algernon performs the initiative surgical technique and instructs the patient to rest. So, he needs the patient to rest and everything. So then Cornelia is having breakfast, and she hears about multiple society people who have been stricken with typhoid, because that typhoid fever is still going around. And she's very concerned about possible epidemics. She contacts John, and he suggests she work with Inspector Spite to track down the source of the outbreak. So that's basically what she's going to do there. She's going to try to figure out the source of the outbreak. And speaking of, very bad, what's going on, John, after this, he ends up, pulling up his sleeves, and he goes like this, so he puts, like, cocaine in his sleeve, so he is definitely addicted. We can see that right here. He is definitely very, very addicted. He definitely needs a lot of help. It's going to be interesting to see how he overcomes this. I really hope he does, because he needs to overcome this, definitely. And I really hope he does eventually overcome this, because he definitely needs to overcome this, and I really hope he does. As I said, he definitely really needs to overcome this. It's just something he needs to. He really doesn't have a choice. He has to. So, what else happened? Oh, we saw this pig, basically, being, operated on, which was, very strange, definitely. This pig was, like, being operated on, and, Barrow went into where the pig was being operated on. He ended up tearing the pig apart and throwing the pig into, like, he threw the pig into the fire. Basically, he cut up parts of the pig, threw it into the fire, and I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to basically turn the hospital against him because he's not happy with the ways the Knick is running things. He's trying to turn it against him, or he's just trying to get his aggression out. I really don't know what he's trying to do, but definitely that was really big. I was not expecting that at all, and that was just very surprising. So then we also saw this other patient who had a baby. There was this other patient that had a baby and everything, and she did not want the baby to be in danger, so she decided to send the baby to the nuns. Now, this scares me. This really scares me because, of course, we know that one of the nuns is an abortionist. We know that. We know that one of the nuns is an abortionist, so that really scares me that that's going to happen. I'm very interested in seeing what's going to happen there. I don't know what's going to happen there. I'm very interested in seeing what's going to happen there. So, then we see Gallinger and Bertie. They are attempting to practice the galvanic procedure that Algernon worked on overseas, but they're unable to decipher the French medical journal it's written in, and they agree to have Algernon walk them through the procedure, though they won't let him take part in it. So, because, again, there's still the discriminating thing going on, they don't really like Algernon, even though, Bertram, is okay with Algernon being there, he's still, Gallinger is not happy, really, with him, being there, so, yeah, that was definitely very interesting, and unfortunately, because of this, the laborer returns to his job, promptly, re-injures himself, and he actually is unable to save him, so, this was the first time that Algernon actually didn't save a patient, which was very surprising. I did not expect that was going to happen at all. Just very, very surprising, definitely. He was not able to save the patient, and that was just very surprising, in my opinion. I was not expecting him not to be able to save that patient. I thought he would be able to, and he didn't. He didn't save the patient. Again, this is the first time we've seen him not be able to save a patient, because thus far in the show, whenever, Algernon is not working on a patient, that's when it fails, basically. But what ended up happening is that he failed on a patient himself, so obviously he's very upset about this. He goes over to a bar, and, basically, he goes over to this bar, and, he is very pissed, definitely. He starts talking, like, shit to this one guy, and this guy's like to him, hey, you want to fight and everything? And he takes those frustrations on the other man's face, and, yeah, so he is really pissed off, and he ended up knocking out that guy. And I think it's trying to show that he's kind of going crazy because of what's happening to him. So my question is Algernon really going crazy? I'm very interested in seeing definitely what's going to happen here. But this episode was very good in my opinion. Really loved everything that was going on this episode. Let me know what you guys saw this episode, definitely. I have a couple questions right now. The biggest one is Algernon going crazy? The other thing is, what is going to happen to that baby? We know that one of the nuns is an abortionist, so I don't know what's going to happen to that baby, if the baby's going to be okay. I'm very interested in seeing what's going to happen there. Also, since Algernon failed the surgery, what else is going to happen? Definitely, we're going to have to see what happens there. Algernon, I think, is definitely going to be in trouble with this business, definitely. I think he's definitely going to be in trouble. We did find out one other thing, but I'm trying to remember what it is that we found out. We found out that there's actually this, person that's, where was it that okay, what did we find out? I'm trying to remember. Sorry, guys, I'm just looking on this recap. Again, guys, I don't actually watch this show on my TV. I watch it on my friend's TV. So I don't remember everything. We found out, basically, that, that Algernon, that there was also this subplot, with Gallinger and, Chickering. I forgot to talk about that. They're trying to learn a radical procedure, I talked about that and everything. But, basically what ended up happening, I can't remember what it was. It was something with Algernon's mother, I believe, something like that. I don't remember what it was. But, definitely this show is getting very interesting. Also, what do you guys think of Barrow? As I said, I think Barrow is supposed to be our central villain here. He is definitely turning against the hospital. I do not trust Barrow at all at this point. I don't trust him. If you guys trust him, that's on you, but I really just, I don't trust Barrow at this point. Also, is John going to do something to get help with his addiction? Because he definitely needs to get help with his addiction. He's definitely addicted, and I think he definitely does need to get, you know, a lot of help with that addiction, because he has a very bad cocaine addiction, and I definitely think that something is going to happen for him with that addiction, definitely. I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen there, and yeah, so I'm very interested in seeing what's going to happen there, and I'm trying to remember if there was anything else this episode. I feel like there was, but I can't remember what else happened. What else happened? Oh, also, what is going to happen with this typhoid outbreak? How are they going to stop this typhoid outbreak? You know, there are a lot of people who have this very bad typhoid disease. Very interesting to see what's going to happen there. And yeah, so that's something going to be very interesting. And also, the visitor that John's had, Abagail, is something going to happen with them? I feel like we're going to see her again. We only saw her one time this episode, so I feel like we're going to see her again. I don't know what else is going to happen, but that's it, my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys are thinking of the show. Overall, I'm really enjoying it. Really looking forward to the next episode. I mean, this was definitely a very good third episode, in my opinion. Really looking forward to the next episode, which we don't get for 2 weeks, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for either a movie review or for my review of tomorrow's episode of Outlander. So see you guys for that. Okay, bye.